Hey, let's talk about seeds part two. Today we're going to be talking about GMO versus hybrid. And there seems to be confusion on both sides. GMO and hybrid are not the same thing. If anybody tells you otherwise, they're either misinformed or being intellectually dishonest. A hybrid is the first generation cross of like species. That means that a zucchini and a squash can cross-pollinate. And if you collect the seeds of that cross-pollination, then it's going to have unique characteristics the next season. It occurs in nature, okay? GMO is the manual insertion of genetics from a non-like plant variety, typically. That's called transgenesis or transgenesis. And it would be impossible for that to occur in nature. Now, there's been some experiments in the past with supposedly putting animal DNA into vegetables, but based off my research, none of that's actually come to fruition. Now, there are genetically modified animals which have genetics from other animals inserted. Okay, so there is that. And so if somebody's telling you that GMO is absolutely no different than hybrid, they're not being honest. They're just not. There is no way GMO can occur in nature. And what's even worse is some of you older folks like myself may remember a few years ago that Monsanto sent out their investigators and snuck in on people's fields, pulling crops and genetically testing. And if any of their genetics were found in that person's field, they would sue them for patent infringement. I'm of the opinion that the farmer who's been saving his seed for generations, that all of a sudden has Monsanto's GMO genetics in their seed, should be able to sue Monsanto for environmental contamination. Because once you release something into the genome, okay, once you release binome, once you release something into the binome, you cannot get it back. It just keeps spreading. So if I plant Trucker's Favorite, okay, and if somebody close enough to air pollinate my corn is using a genetically modified corn, then my next year's seed will be contaminated with that DNA. Now, the general public cannot purchase GMO seeds. There has been just a few like test things like purple tomatoes for a little while. I don't even know if you can still get them. But in general, GMO seeds are only done with large commercial farming operations because they can sign patent contracts. And guys like me and most of you aren't worth the effort. So if you go out and you buy tomatoes, potatoes, corn seed, what have you, it will not be true GMO. Could it be contaminated with it? Possibly. But, you know, the seed companies who work on open pollinated and heirloom do everything they can to avoid cross contamination. And then the hybrid people definitely want to avoid cross contamination because they want certain genetics from each plant that are transferred by cross pollination. I hope that helps. Next, I think we're going to talk about open pollinated versus heirloom. Sounds good? Thanks.